Yo, what's up? Thank you for tuning in to another edition of Moving Forward with Dave. I'm Dave. Today we're going to talk about not being a part of a faction, being in the middle, how rare it is for somebody to be in the middle. Um, Talk about my personal journey and where I stand right today. So we're going to get into this. Hang on, this should be good. Okay. Well, some of you have seen a bunch of my podcasts and know me real well, and kind of maybe have had an idea of who I am and what I believe and what I stand for. Well, I'm here to set the record straight today, so you don't have to guess. So I'm going to tell you what it is. I'm part of no faction. I'm part of no political party. I'm part of no gang. I'm part of no group or any entity of that, of any political nature. Number one, I do talk a lot about, politics, and I think it's important that you do. But I try to talk about it from a common sense perspective, not from, a right wing perspective like some might be accusing me of coming off as. So let me make that completely straight and clear. I am not a Republican. I am not, by definition, conservative. I am not, by definition, liberal. And I'm not, by definition, a Democrat. Even though I still today, to this day, I'll be honest, I am a registered Democrat. This comes, back from my, when I was back in the day when I was very young and naive. And, and I believed in, a lot of stuff that I was young, and everybody wants to be a rebel when they're young. So without that said, I've never changed it over to anything else because there really is nothing else that I probably would change it, should change it to independent. I guess that would probably be correct for me. So maybe I should do that, in the upcoming months or whatever. But to get back to what I'm saying, I'm not part of any faction. I don't sit here and fight talking points for the Republican Party or the Democratic Party. Right now, I'm taking shots at the Democratic Party. I am. Yes, I am. I most definitely, because it's the most craziest right now. It's like some of the stuff that's going on with them is absolutely insane. I mean, how can you, stand by a lot of this stuff? Like, like I said, maybe I get a little overzealous and sometimes, and I, maybe should think a little bit more before I speak, but I do. And, I don't censor my thoughts, so that's why I do this thing. So, when I go back and look, I at least know who I am and, I'm a man of my principles. But if you think for 1 second that I'm fighting for, GOP or conservative views or, anything like that, I'm not. It's common sense. And right now, the views of a lot of these conservatives are kind of lining up with common sense at the moment right now. If that changes, of course, my views will go the other way as well. But for right now, I mean, let's be honest, Democrats are absolutely crazy. Like, they're just accusing, the GOP of, oh, you guys wanted to fund the police. Even the most liberal magazine of the Washington Post gave them 3 Pinocchios. I mean, that's the most you can get. Is 3. Like, that's a flat out blatant lie that they just keep throwing out there. And, after a while, you just get tired of the lies. And you know what I mean? I mean, the Republicans are no saints. I mean, I totally believe that a lot of these problems that we have today are because of them. Hear me out. They sat on their hands and did nothing for years and years and years and years and years. While the schools were getting indoctrinated, courts were getting stacked, judges were, being selected, ideology was, starting to become, the new law. And they sat on their hands and they did nothing because they're all in bed with each other anyway. They're all garbage. So I blame them for really the root of this. If they were the way that they were saying they are now, none of the craziness would have happened. Maybe, things would have went a different way. But they sat on their hands and they allowed all of this stuff to happen while they counted their money. And here we are paying the price down the line. Here's another reason why I could never be a Republican. Because they're spineless and weak. They're all talk. There's no action behind 90% of them. There's a few of them out there. There are a few of them out there that are fighters. Like the guy in Florida, DeSantis. Maybe Ted Cruz is a bit of a fighter too. Jim Jordan, he's another fighter. But as a group, like, they're not fighters. These guys are just like, but please back. Just let me count my money. Let me do. I'm not with these guys either. I'm not with anything like that. It seems to me like guys like me that have, some conservative views. I mean, I have a lot of conservative views. I love this country. I love this country deeply. I respect the flag. I respect the police officers. I believe in God. I believe in hard work and government not taking my money and staying out of my business and freedom to make my own choice and do what I want to do. I believe in a woman's right to make a choice of what she needs to do within, a reasonable amount of time. I also believe that, gay rights are human rights. Basic human rights. These are human rights. I believe that if you want to be transgender, you should. You could do whatever you want to do. I believe in live and let live. I also believe, that, in a social setting, I don't care what you do. But in the world of sports, I don't believe in the transgender mixing in the world of sports because it's just a little bit, I think, a competitive edge for the transgender. That's what I believe. But that's for another case. But I believe in their right to have life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Get married, do what they want to do. I don't really care. I'm that guy. In the middle that doesn't really care. Just don't come into my house, tell me what I got to do, and say, well, now you have to change your life, because I don't really want to change my life. I'm not asking to change your life. Just don't ask me to change my life. We can find an accord. We can find a way to coexist and live together in harmony. We don't have to be at each other's throats because these two factions are demanding that you fight the next guy with tooth and nail to the death in the Thunderdome type style crap that is the internet. Really? I mean, personally, I have a ton of liberal friends, and I have a ton of conservative friends. They're really conservative, and these other liberal friends are really liberal. I'm cool with either side because I could see what's going on over here, and I could see what's going on over here. I feel like people like me are lost in this whole thing because we don't really want to fight with anybody. We don't want to, have this conversation, but we also don't want to get picked on and say, oh, you're this and you're that. We don't. We're going to stand up for ourselves as well. But, there's no real representation for people like, me in the middle that can see both sides very clearly, but is able to come to a compromise, through civil discourse and debate. I can be swayed. My brain is not fixed in hate or programmed in any way. I can be swayed with a great conversation that's full of facts and matter. Do you know? That's how I grow. That's why I'm doing this. I'm looking for debate, not screaming and yelling at people. I want honest and truthful civil discourse, debate, real debate. Maybe I can learn something. Maybe I could teach you something. Maybe we could find that middle. Maybe we could find a way to move forward. That's what this whole thing that I'm doing on this podcast is about. And I don't want anybody to pervert it into any other way. Understand exactly where my focus is and where I'm coming from. Then you will understand more of the subjects of my podcast and where I'm going with it. But first, you have to understand me. And this is the way to do that. I got to tell you who I am. Now, just as much as I can never be a Republican, just as much, even more, that I could never, ever be a Democrat ever again. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I voted for Barack Obama twice. I did it twice. You know, a lot of shit in his second term. He, turned the country into, this a racial hotspot. I mean, maybe not his own fault, maybe his fault. I don't know. A guy like that could have tampered things down at the time, but I mean, I don't know, man. When I voted for him, I thought he was the guy that was going to bring us all together. I was mistaken, and I've grown greatly from that. But I couldn't be a Democrat because of the lies, because of the constant lying. They're the party of, I did that, but I'm going to blame you for that. And look at what he did. But ignores their own craziness. The ultra extreme stuff that they're putting forward that is absolutely filled in. Some of it is just blind hatred and based in no fact, and just it is just insane what they're doing. I mean, they've allowed cities to burn down. They've allowed people to get beat up in the street. They've allowed craziness to happen, all in the name of, we can all protest. And then the same thing happens, another way, and it's, oh my God, we have to have committees and stuff. These people are kind of evil. They're not your traditional Democrats. These are not your mom and dad's Democrats. These are not the Democrats that I grew up with going on. These are not the liberals that you grew up with. Traditional liberals like Joe Rogan, who right now even liberals think that this guy is a conservative. This Joe Rogan is so far from a conservative, is absolutely unbelievable. But they label him as a conservative because he goes against a couple of things. And they have to be this faction. Their faction, like I will say, they're not weak and spineless. They march, no matter what, in series, in order, all together, boom, 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 as a collective, from the head down. There's no thinking, no blurping from the bottom. There's no debate coming from the bottom. You shut your mouth. We're going to vote this way. Everybody does it. And that's what really happens with that party. I could never be like that, I could never stand behind a party like that has got so much power, has the media behind it, that is the arm of its party. How can you say you've won a revolution and you want to be, free from the government and everything, when all they do is grow government, grow more dependency, and gain more power with every day? I don't know, man. I just can't do that either. Can't be a Republican. Can't be a Democrat. Libertarian, looks attractive, but I feel like, not enough people are on that, and it really is, what are you going to do? So I picked nothing. I picked being American. How about that? And whoever's going to do the job right. I know that's going to piss off a lot of my conservative friends, and I've already pissed off my liberal friends already anyway. So I might as well be an equal opportunity pisser offer, if that's even a word. Well, thank you for tuning in to another edition of Moving Forward with Dave. Hopefully today I got a little bit closer to my audience. You get to know a little bit more about me. Hopefully you'll start to think for yourself a little bit. That's all I want to do, is I want to provoke thought. That's the main goal here. So with that said, God bless you. God bless America. Peace out, people. Take care of yourself.